Most AI demos look impressive in isolation, but they collapse the moment you connect them to real business data, real users, and real failure conditions. If you're building a multi-agent system that needs to actually run in production, this LangGraph tutorial is your blueprint. We're going to architect a complete agentic workflow using LangGraph and LangChain, covering coordinator design, tool routing, observability, and the API integration layer that ties agentic AI to live business systems. Let's get into it. Here's the business problem this solves. Enterprise operations teams are drowning in tasks that require conditional logic across multiple data sources. Think lead qualification that pulls from a CRM, enriches via an external API, then routes to a human or triggers an automated follow-up. A single LLM call can't handle that reliably. You need a coordinated multi-agent system with defined responsibilities, fallback logic, and full observability. Here's the architecture overview. The system uses a supervisor agent built in LangGraph that receives an incoming task, decomposes it, and delegates to specialized subagents, each scoped to a single domain, like data retrieval, enrichment, or decision-making. LangGraph's stateful graph structure manages the execution flow, passing a shared state object between nodes, so each agent has full context without redundant API calls. All agents are built on LangChain's tool calling interface, and the entire pipeline is exposed via a FastAPI endpoint that your existing business systems can post to. LangSmith handles tracing and observability end-to-end. Now, the step-by-step build. Start by installing LangGraph, LangChain, and LangSmith via pip, then set your LangChain tracing v2 environment variable to true to enable trace capture from the first run. Define your shared state schema using Python's typedict. This is the object that flows through every node in the graph and holds task input, intermediate results, and final output. Build your first subagent as a LangChain tool calling agent. In this blueprint, it's a CRM lookup agent that queries HubSpot's Contacts API using an authenticated GET request and returns structured contact data. Build a second subagent for data enrichment. This one calls the Clearbit enrichment API with the contact's email and appends firmographic data to the shared state. Create your supervisor node as a LangGraph node that reads the current state, evaluates which subagent to invoke next using an OpenAI GPT-4o function call, and returns a routing decision. Wire the graph using LangGraph's StateGraph class. Add each agent as a named node, define conditional edges from the supervisor using addConditionalEdges, and set your entry point. Add a decision node at the end of the graph that evaluates enriched lead data against your qualification criteria and writes a routing outcome. Either trigger a Slack notification via the Slack web API or write a disqualified record back to HubSpot. Compile the graph with graph.compile and wrap it in a FastAPI post endpoint that accepts a JSON payload, invokes the graph with aInvoke, and returns the final state as a response. Deploy the FastAPI app using a containerized setup on Railway or Render. Both support environment variable injection and persistent logging without complex DevOps overhead. Connect your upstream trigger, use a Zapier webhook or Make HTTP module to post incoming leads directly to your FastAPI endpoint the moment they enter your pipeline. Now, the edge cases you need to handle. External API calls to HubSpot and Clearbit will occasionally time out or return 429 rate limit errors. Wrap each tool call in a try except block and implement exponential backoff using the Tenacity library to prevent cascading failures. LangGraph's conditional routing can enter infinite loops if your supervisor's exit condition is ambiguous. Always define a maximum iteration count using the recursion limit parameter in your graph config and log a fallback state when it triggers. Here's how to extend this blueprint. Swap the HubSpot and Clearbit integrations for any data source your business uses. The agent and graph structure remains identical, only the tool definitions change. For more complex workflows, add a memory layer using LangChain's Postgres chat history to give agents access to prior session context across runs. Links to all tools and documentation are in the description below. If this breakdown was useful, hit subscribe. We publish production-ready automation blueprints every week.